Hi, and thanks for listening to Gossip with Celebrity, brought to you by Celebrity.com. This week we talk about the Royals, Loughlin, Taylor Swift and Lena Dunham, and Gwyneth Paltrow. Our user feedback is from a reader in Poland, and we end with our weekly feature, the Comments of the Week. The stories we talk about can be found at Celebrity.com/podcast under episode 27. Hi, I'm Katie, the founder and editor of Celebrity.com, and I write as Celebrity.
Hi, and I'm Chandra. I write as Kaiser, and I'm the head writer for Celebrity.
So this week we both have pets at our house, which aren't normally there.
Yes, and mine is permanent. I think mine is a permanent situation.
Oh, okay.
But you are just dog sitting, right?
I'm dog sitting a border collie. She's really sweet. She follows you all over the house. Like, you can't take a shower and close the curtain because she'll poke her head around the curtain and make sure you're in there. And Hecate just posted something with her dog checking on her in the shower too. So I guess that's the thing that dogs do. But so she's here with me.
I mean, those border collies will just follow everybody around.
It's nice for them because she's not like all stressed out that my friend's gone. But at the same time, she just follows you all over the house. And she follows my kid when I'm not there. So she's right here with me.
You know what that is? That's herding. She's not following you. She's herding you. She's taking you to wherever you need to go. All right. Well, should I just talk about my cat now?
Sure. I want to get this dog to speak though for the podcast. Come here, Mango. Mango, come here. Come. Sit. Mango, speak. Speak. Come on, speak. There you go. Did you hear it? It was very low.
Yeah, a little bit.
She just goes, roof. And if you act like you're playing, she'll bark at you and run around the house. But she's good about not hurting you. Here's another one, girl. Okay.
All right. Well, I have a talker as well. So my mom had 2 cats, and then she was in the hospital. My mom was in the hospital for a while. Mm-hmm. Now she's in a rehab facility, and basically one of her cats was already, in very poor health.
Yes.
So I put down one of her cats, and I have a lot of guilt about it.
Yeah, I get that.
I brought the second cat to my house, so now her cat Dexter is living with me. So now I have another cat. I have my little panther kitty, who I still feel like is just a kitten, and then I have this big orange linebacker. He's a thick boy. He's a very thick boy.
With an eye.
Yeah, he's a very talkative cat. So, I mean, we have full-on conversations. He's a lot sweeter than I thought he was going to be.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, he's just a very, low-key kitty. He just sleeps and talks, and he bitches and moans a little bit, but, he's a sweetheart, though.
Did your mom name him after the show?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, she loved Dexter.
That was a good show. Yeah, I liked the first couple seasons. That was a good show.
Yeah, it turned to garbage at a certain point. The show did.
And then we're going to take off next Monday because it's Labor Day. I need to figure out some kind of schedule for us so we're not just going all the time and then stopping out of necessity. I'm going to research that. It's on my list, and I'll figure out our plan.
Oh, I'm glad we're stopping next week because next week is the U.S. Open, and as we're recording this, the draw came out just like a few hours ago. Everyone is talking about this one thing, which is first round match. So probably the first night of the U.S. Open, Serena Williams plays Maria Sharapova.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I mean, Sharapova is in really bad shape these days. She has all of these injuries, but I don't want to make fun of her for that because hell, Serena has a lot of injuries too. We all do.
Yeah. Well, their bodies go through such rough stuff, doing that as a career.
I'm kind of actually a little bit glad that Serena will get to kick Maria's ass one last time, before both of them retire. So it's going to be very exciting. So just look forward to the U.S. Open in general.
Okay. I'll look forward to reading your write-up.
Yeah. I mean, that match will be good. It'll be good no matter what.
Yeah. So this week was full of, it feels like it's just getting up to this level that is unsustainable, the amount of hate that Duchess Meghan gets in the British press. And this week we heard about them taking a second vacation, supposedly second. We're not positive that they went to Ibiza a couple weeks ago, but this week they went to Nice, France. And they flew private, which initially was all the information we had about it, and everybody was up in arms, even though all the celebrities and rich people and royals fly private. And then we heard from Elton John that it was his invitation and his private jet, which uses carbon offsets, and his estate, and that he had invited them because he was close friends with Princess Diana. It seems like no matter what they do, they're getting hate. And while we could criticize them just for taking so many vacations, which seems a little bit much, at the same time, we don't want to do that because they're getting it so much from the press.
Right. Like, we could honestly be having like a somewhat critical conversation about Meghan and Harry, and did they really need to take all these vacations? Did they need to take this kind of time off? But the fact that everyone is going so overboard about it is insane. And it has been like this before. It was like this last fall, like around November, when it was just story after story about how Meghan was a diva and how she made Kate cry and blah, blah, blah. It was just everything. And I thought, at the time, I thought that was in reaction to how popular Harry and Meghan were on tour.
Yes, exactly.
And I feel like, I mean, they've come down a few levels. I mean, the press, the tabloids have come down a few levels here and there. But actually, ever since then, it's just like they go from 0 to 60 in an instant, no matter what happens. Before the private plane thing, it was that she wore jeans at Wimbledon and that she was acting like a diva at Wimbledon.
I remember that. So she sat with the general public and not in the royal box, and right? And then somebody was bugging her for a picture or something, and that was this huge story.
Right. Well, she wasn't even in the court with a royal box.
Exactly.
I mean,
so it doesn't matter what she does.
Yeah, it really doesn't.
I think there's a confluence, I'm using a $10 word, of factors that come into this, is that Meghan gets a lot of hits. And if you run negative stories about her, it gets even more hits. And at the same time, nobody's stopping these stories. Like we said last week, and you were explaining with the stories about Andrew and his very real connection to a human trafficking ring. Nobody's stopping the stories about Meghan. And they're totally racist. It's just surprising how racist they are.
I mean, I've always heard that there is this undercurrent of racism, and it's just not out in the open so much as it is here in America. Part of the thing with Meghan is that it feels like not only are they being incredibly racist towards her, they're also gaslighting everyone about how racist they're being. They're like, oh, no, it's not about race. It's about this
she's
or
American or this or whatever. So this week we heard from Jamil, who wrote on Twitter, and Jessica Mulroney, who just kind of posted a quote. She defended her against the racism in the press. And Jameela pointed out that a British tabloid used the words exotic DNA and thickened the royal bloodline with Meghan. I fact-checked this, and the quote that I found is worse than Jameela remembered. It was in November 2017. I found it. The Guardian reported it as it was run in the Mail. It was like a think piece about how racist the British tabloids are being. And Rachel Johnson in the Daily Mail wrote, "The Windsors will thicken their watery, thin blue blood and Spencer pale skin and ginger hair with some rich and exotic DNA." Holy shit!
Yeah. I mean, but is that more or less racist than saying that she's straight out of Compton?
Or uppity.
Yeah.
Or sassy.
And what's funny about that, like, we're learning that the baby Archie probably is a pale little ginger. I think that's a little bit funny.
Oh, we'll see. I think babies change a lot, so who knows?
Yeah.
So another story that came out this week is that Kate and William and their kids flew commercial, which we've never seen them do, to my memory. You would remember better than me.
No, we've seen it a few times. I remember it especially when they were dating. Okay. Not so much through like the past few years, but when they were dating, they used to fly commercial all the time.
So they took a budget flight to Scotland, and they were photographed, and the Daily Mail picked it up. And it was such a big, obvious move in contrast to the stories about Harry and Meghan taking a private jet. And I just want to say something, okay? If I had that kind of means, and if I was at that level, or even now, who am I kidding? If I had an opportunity to fly on a private jet, oh, hell yeah, I would. I hate flying commercial. It's awful. Yes, I care about the environment. Those things have to fly anyway, right? So...
Yeah.
I sound like such an asshole, but I hate flying commercial. Oh my God.
Yeah, I would love to fly on a private plane just to see what it was like. I would love to not have to worry about, traveling with peasants and that kind of thing.
Oh, the delays and the nastiness and the stuff I have experienced in flying. Oh my God.
The Cambridge's flying commercial, and doing it in such a showy way, I honestly believe that William and the Kensington Palace press office, they definitely tipped off the Daily Mail, if not fully arranged for those photos to appear as they did.
Yeah.
And I think that it's very... it makes it look
it's petty AF.
Yeah, it's very petty. It makes it look like William has been behind the smearing of Meghan for this private plane thing. That's what it looks like.
I don't think they have to do much to get that going. I think they just have to nod and push.
Yeah.
Or wink or whatever. It doesn't require this extensive planting of stories or anything, because the British press is doing that anyway. But it's a kind of a complicity where they're not shutting them down, and they could easily have done that. They shut the story down about Kate getting Botox when obviously she gets Botox, but not from that guy, But
yeah. I also think that given how obvious that photo op was with the Cambridge's, flying commercial, I think that it's going to be very interesting to see what the Cambridges do to combat the headlines when the Sussexes go on their royal tour in Africa. I think William and Kate will figure out something big to announce as Harry and Meghan are making a big photo op with Archie or something like that.
I bet you're right, because they've done those moves before. You were saying that they announced their Pakistan tour during the Sussexes baseball game trip.
Yep.
And that was on a Saturday. Right?
Yeah, it was they announced it on a Saturday evening, London time, which would have been, right in the middle of the baseball game, basically. And it was just such an obvious, look at me, from the Cambridges. So, yeah, I mean, just imagine what will happen when Harry and Meghan are actually dominating the headlines for actual work. And for a tour.
William is very petty, and no wonder they split their teams up, because they couldn't get along. I wonder what it was like when they were trying to work together.
Yeah.
Another thing this week is that Loughlin is covering People magazine with her two little angelic daughters. Everybody's all very white. They're wearing a lot of white. So she refused to take a plea deal for her part in the Operation Varsity Blues scandal, where she got her daughter, the Instagram influencer, into USC. And Felicity Huffman is getting sentenced September 13th. She took a guilty plea, and she did a lot less than Lori did. And Lori's facing 20 years in jail. She turned down multiple offers to work with the prosecutors.
I think Lori only turned down one plea deal, and the plea deal was for maybe just 2 years in jail, obviously lesser charges. And when she rejected that one plea deal, they added more charges to the indictment, and so now she's facing 20 years. She wasn't initially.
Oh.
If she's convicted of everything with the added charges, then it's 20 years. For months now, she's been kind of hinting around that she would be open to another plea deal, but only one that didn't have any kind of jail time. Please, of course.
Yes. Okay. So I want to read her stuff, even though it's not that flowery, because I think the People magazine staff reworded it to make it less ridiculous, but it still sounds ridiculous.
Okay.
So here's what a source told People about Lori Loughlin, and I'm just going to include a couple quotes together and not the filler. She's embarrassed and hurt, and she knows that her reputation has been ruined for life. But she also believes the allegations against her aren't true. She honestly didn't think what she was doing was any different than donating money for a library or athletic field. That's the crux of why she pleaded not guilty. Lori is ready for this to be over. They all are. At this point, it would be better to spend a few months in jail, because she's been spending the last several months in her own prison. Oh my gosh.
The white privilege to make that kind of statement. The white privilege.
What did you write? It was so good. Prison of like white wine or something. What was this? I'm looking for what you wrote.
What I wrote in the post?
Yeah. It was really good. Well, you wrote a couple posts on it.
Yeah, she thinks that she can just wave away these charges and these indictments like it's nothing. Like she's waving away a glass of white wine that she doesn't care for.
Yeah.
She still believes that. She still thinks that way. Oh, she's ridiculous. And and someone's like, don't call her a rich bitch. I'm like, but she is.
Yeah, she really is. And she's so like aggrieved and victimized. And People magazine is playing right into this. And they don't put them on the cover, but they do this with the dudes who kill their whole families.
Oh, yeah.
They do the same thing, like how they're doing in prison. Yo, that guy just killed a bunch of kids and his wife. I don't want to know how he's doing in prison.
Yeah. I don't understand the sympathetic stories for white criminals.
In no way am I comparing their two crimes. It's just, come on, don't elevate this one. First of all, she's just like an 80s actress who's in Hallmark movies now. Like, how does she even deserve this? Oh my gosh. That's Lori Loughlin. Oh, say what you said about who she reminds you of.
Oh, she reminds me of Lucille Bluth in Arrested Development. Only, like, Lucille was genuinely funny.
And she had personality.
Yeah. And Lori Loughlin just says stuff like she's living in her own prison, you know. Oh, for God's sake.
Poor girl. So this week, we got some news from Taylor Swift. She's re-releasing some of her songs. She also did a fashion collaboration, which is just a merchandise design with Stella McCartney, whose designs are awful. It's in general.
Yeah. If you've been reading the blog for a long time, you know our hatred for all things Stella McCartney. She's a terrible designer.
It's well deserved. It's not that we're just like, oh, she's a nepotism designer. No, her stuff is baggy, fug, not attractive. Yeah. Once in a while, it's okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's either just moderately okay or it's just flat out awful. There's never like, oh my God, that Stella McCartney dress was amazing. It's never that.
No.
But yeah, the thing about Taylor Swift's line is that it wasn't supposed to be merchandise. It was supposed to be a genuine fashion line. That's how it was billed. Everyone was like, oh, we're going to get like really cute purses and we're going to get like some really cool sportswear and everything's going to be awesome. And then it's just standardized concert merchandise. That's basically all it is. It's the kind of stuff that you would buy if you went to her concert.
So they're t-shirts that look vaguely pastel, tie-dyed, and airbrushed and very 80s mall.
Yeah, very 80s mall.
The fonts are bad. They're like script fonts. As you wrote, there's not enough cats. There needs to be more cats and rainbow vomiting and unicorns. Like if she just embraced that whole Lisa Frank aesthetic, that would be awesome. Just go all out.
But this shit is just ugly.
Yeah.
It's just ugly and it's unflattering and nobody would really look cute in it, honestly.
No, but it's perfect for her fans who are young girls.
Yeah, but those young girls are paying like extra for the Stella name. For what?
For Taylor's branded.
Yeah, for a t-shirt that's going to fall apart in a couple of washes and is ugly anyway.
Maybe not. I still have some of my 90s concert t-shirts, my 80s concert t-shirts.
I had a REM t-shirt, which lasted me, honestly, the entire way through college.
Oh, nice.
That was a well-made t-shirt. I wore it all the time.
A lot of my concert t-shirts, I didn't wear that and wash that much, which is why they still exist. But I have some from The Cure, Depeche Mode, bands today. I don't know. There's some good ones. There's some good ones, just not Taylor Swift. And then Lena Dunham. She worked with Domino magazine, which I have totally never heard of, to do...
Yeah, me either.
Photo spread.
I had never heard of it either.
Of her New York apartment, which she bought with her ex, or while she was dating her ex, music producer Jack Antonoff. And he hated it, she wrote in her little twee way.
Wait. So the apartment that she showed in Domino is not the one that she bought with Jack.
Oh, I just skimmed that shit. I'm sorry.
No, like she wrote the essay for the cover story of Domino magazine, which, again, we've never even heard of. So she wrote this like very self-absorbed essay about all of the properties that she's owned or rented in New York.
Oh, okay.
she goes on and on and on about the apartment that she owned with Jack. She decorated it with just completely her style with no input from him at all. And she did it all pink, real cheap, cheesy wallpaper and, cat stuff. And
her style is terrible.
And tchotchkes.
Her tchotchkes are ugly.
Yeah.
Oh.
That was like that apartment, and Jack hated it. And instead of compromising, like basically they broke up.
I'm sure he had plenty of other reasons to break up with her, but
yeah. So they broke up, and she sold that apartment, and then she goes and rents this new apartment, and she decorates it the exact same way with all of her 80s furniture and like pink and tchotchkes and terrible
You
style.
can use some of that stuff. You can take some of those design elements and bring them into a fresh look that's unique and not looking like 80s vomit.
Yeah, and it just, everything looks really cheap. Nothing goes together. She's very twee.
Yeah.
It looks like the stylist for Taylor Swift's Lover made this apartment.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. That's why we're talking about them at this, adjacent to each other, because they reminded me very much of the same style. And no wonder they were friends for a minute when Taylor needed to fill out her squad.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, don't worry. I'm not going to read any of it because I would not subject you to that.
Yeah, well, it's awful. I felt terrible having read it myself. So.
And the pictures give the same feeling as her writing. Like, she looks like her writing. Her personal style and the way she carries herself is so similar to her writing. There was a bit about curling up in a ball, so she didn't need big rooms.
She's such an asshole. Oh my God. She's such an asshole.
She is.
Oh, all right. Can I talk about this one? Because this is the story I really wanted to talk about.
Okay, go for it.
All right. So, Gwyneth Paltrow hired a book curator, basically. It's sort of like
That's his title.
A very fancy elitist book curator. All right, so the backstory is that Gwyneth moved into a new house at some point. She moved into a new house, and she found that she had too many empty bookcases. So instead of just understanding that she would just gradually fill up these bookcases, as she read more and developed her personality more and became more of an intellectual, she just decided to hire someone to buy a lot of books to make it aesthetically pleasing. And I am so mad about this story because it goes against everything I believe in as a book lover. Oh my God. So the guy's name
go ahead, sorry.
is something terrible. Actually, I forgot what it was.
Here, let me look it up. You want to look it up?
It had to do with wine.
There's thunder in my area. The poor dog is looking like she's stressed. His name is Thatcher Wine. Oh my God. So when I read that, I thought it wasn't his name. I thought it was like his company name.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. But no, that's his name, Thatcher Wine. So Thatcher Wine is the guy that you hire when you're rich and stupid and you want to look smart. So you hire him to buy you a lot of books and to make those books very pretty so that it will be aesthetically pleasing on your bookcase. And I am so angry about this.
So some of them are beautiful. I've been looking at the pictures in Town and Country, and he makes his own dust jackets for some of them, so they look like works of art when you put them together. Like they make a whole mural of the books, and some of them are really pretty.
Yeah, I get that. But you know what else is beautiful? A well-used bookshelf full of books that you love. That's also really beautiful.
Yeah, your favorite books. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't understand any of it. And Gwyneth Paltrow is such an asshole. Jesus.
So one of the stories I covered that was unexpectedly popular was about Marie Kondo and her asking people to reduce their books to, she didn't really say 50 books. I guess somebody pulled that out of something she said, but that's not her hard and fast recommendation. But she helps people get rid of their books. And this guy bought 500 to 600 books for Gwyneth Paltrow.
Yeah. Like, I would totally pay money for someone to come over and help me go through my collection of books and sell the ones that I don't need and don't want, and like
Yes.
organize my bookshelf so that I could find what I was looking for when I was like, oh, I want to read that poem. Where is that book? If I want to reread this book, where is it? I would love someone to come over and do that for me. But no, Gwyneth hires someone to buy a lot of books that she's never going to read and that she had never read.
So I get rid of my books after I read them. Even the ones I really like. I mean, I have the complete works of Shakespeare and things that I won't get rid of, but most of my books. And a lot of my books are ones my brother wouldn't get rid of and asked me to keep his stuff. So I want to get rid of those. But yeah.
I'm a book hoarder, so I have issues with keeping books. But I give away a lot of books. I'll read something good and I'll give it to someone like, you should read this. You'll enjoy it.
Of course, Gwyneth would do that, you know. It looked sort of pretty. They were arranged perfectly. But then you look at somebody's house and you're like, oh, this isn't their house. This is somebody's idea of a house. I mean, of course, I would like to be rich enough to have that someday. But
no, I don't dream of like a perfectly organized bookcase that looks pretty and looks like a mural.
No, that's not my thing. I don't keep a lot of books around. So yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, I want a bookcase that like actually functions, that is full of all of my favorite books. That's what I want.
Yeah. So it means something.
I don't care if it looks pretty.
Exactly. All right, let's move on to the user feedback. So we got a nice email from Renata in Poland, and she wrote, I admire a lot of your posts, especially on Trump and on various aspects of politics. They give me a valuable insight into American politics, or rather the perception of U.S. politics by people like me, women, mothers, professionals, and common sense-driven people. So we all have our own worries and challenges, and it's really comforting to feel women's solidarity on both sides of the ocean. So thank you, Renata, for that.
Yeah, thank you, Renata. She wanted us to cover the Trump-Denmark story, which was awful.
You want to talk about that?
We don't have to talk about it. Just, he's an absolute moron, and we're not fucking buying Greenland.
And the Prime Minister of Denmark was hilarious in her response to him.
Yeah, and he called her nasty, too. Yeah.
Oh, we're all nasty women.
Yep.
Move on to the comments of the week. So Cindy Adams is writing for the New York Post for page 6. I really didn't think she was still alive. Like, I did not.
One of the big gossip columnists for the Post did die, I think. But it wasn't Cindy Adams.
That guy who wrote for the Inquirer passed.
Yeah, he passed away.
Mike Walker. He called me out once. I covered a story of his on Ben Affleck, and I said I didn't buy it, and then he made fun of me without naming the site, and I was, like, honored.
All right, well, anyway, Cindy Adams is still alive, and she's racist as hell.
She said she had a bunch of Princess Diana staffers. I guess she still knows somebody or two who works at the palace, who told her that the plan is to... What is this? I don't even want to sift through this. Her writing is so terrible and hard to read. Like, how do people like this get jobs? You know, like, I would not hire this person. I would read 2-word lines of this and be like, nope. So many disjointed sentences. Okay. Oh my, fuck this. I'm not even reading it. I can't even find a sentence to pull from that.
Yeah, well, basically she just said that Harry and Meghan are going to be, quote-unquote, shipped off to Africa. Okay.
So Frida Kay said on that post, her comment was, she is a latter day Rita Skeeter. And Rita Skeeter is the nasty gossip columnist from...
Because I don't get the reference either, so...
Oh my God, I have to turn my air conditioning off to talk to you, and it's like been 90 degrees today, and I'm sweating. From Harry Potter.
Oh, okay.
One of the Harry Potters, and she was a nasty piece of work, deplorable type. And so, yeah, and she wrote like this.
Okay.
So that is pretty accurate. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Well, my comments of the week, that was funny. My comments of the week are from the Taylor Swift fashion post about how absolutely terrible this merchandise looks.
Okay.
And JB said, "We already know her fans will buy these atrocities and deem them designer works of art. Can you imagine having her wealth and choosing to dress like that? Très tragique." And then Lena says, "My reaction to every picture is to laugh out loud. What is going on? I would not even put this on as a pajama."
Right? I wouldn't wear these as pajamas. I'd be like, those pajamas are tacky. Maybe if they did have the cats and the unicorns on them and stuff. She needed to embrace the cheese instead of act like it was normal. All right. Thanks for listening, bitches.
Thanks, bitches.
I'm seriously like sweating down my shirt, so. Thanks for listening to the Celebrity Podcast. We're now on iHeartRadio. If you like us, tell a friend. And if you subscribe, review, and rate us wherever you listen, it helps us out. We need more voice messages to play on the show, and you can leave us one at 434-218-3219. Our music is from Premium Beat, AA Alto, and Maiden. Thanks again.